If you believe the gardening advice passed down from your grandparents was merely based on luck and lacks scientific backing, you are mistaken. Before the era of modern fertilizers and heavy machinery, they gained knowledge directly from the earth, the sun, the rain, and even their own failed harvests. Many of these techniques were once viewed as obsolete or even prohibited due to hygiene and safety concerns. However, today's scientists are convinced they are actually the most efficient methods. Let's examine 25 gardening strategies that were once discouraged, which modern science has finally validated as proof that our grandparents were genuine gardening experts. Sprinkling cayenne pepper to deter animals. Many gardeners worry that adding strong spices to the soil will alter the taste of their vegetables or cause plants to shrivel under the intense sun. They frequently opt for unsightly barbed wire fences or harsh chemical repellents to keep wildlife at bay. But these solutions are often costly and diminish the garden's natural aesthetic. My grandmother employed a much gentler approach. She would take a container of cayenne pepper from her kitchen and scatter it around the base of her plants. The effectiveness of this trick comes from capsaicin, the chemical compound responsible for the heat in peppers, which acts as a powerful irritant to the sensitive paws and noses of creatures like squirrels or rabbits. When these unwanted visitors attempt to enter the vegetable patch, the sharp burning sensation forces them to retreat. It serves as a clear reminder that this area is a restricted zone. This is a completely organic protection strategy that does not damage the plants or contaminate the soil, keeping the garden open and beautiful without fences. After it rains and the scent diminishes, remember to apply a fresh layer to maintain its potency. Frost protection for young plants. Whenever a cold front is forecasted, many people panic, fearing their fragile green sprouts will perish. They often rush to cover them loosely with heavy tarps or plastic sheeting. However, the weight of these covers can sometimes snap the stems or create a suffocating environment that leads to rot. To solve this, Grandma would gather large plastic milk containers or old nursery pots. She would cut off the bottoms and place them upside down over each individual seedling. This setup functions as a miniature greenhouse where the plastic traps heat and maintains a stable level of humidity inside. The plastic barrier prevents frost crystals from forming on the foliage and shields the plants from freezing winds that can sap their vitality. When the sun rises and the air warms up, simply lift these covers so the plants can breathe and engage in photosynthesis. This method costs nothing but offers total protection, helping the garden endure even the most brutal weather conditions. Placing rocks around plants for warmth. Many see placing inanimate stones around a plant's base as a hindrance during maintenance, or something that makes the soil too dense and poorly drained. Yet in the eyes of our grandparents, every rock is a valuable thermal pad gifted by the sun. On chilly days, Grandma would select medium-sized stones and arrange them carefully around plants sensitive to temperature. The science behind this is quite fascinating. Rocks possess a high thermal mass, allowing them to absorb and store solar energy throughout the day. When night arrives and temperatures drop, these stones slowly release that stored heat into the soil near the roots. This creates a microclimate that is several degrees warmer than the surrounding air, preventing sharp temperature drops in the ground that could shock the root system. Thanks to these silent guardians, plants can maintain a steady metabolism even during cold nights. Reviving old potting soil. At the start of every new planting season, a frequent error is discarding all the old soil from pots to replace it with expensive new bags. Many assume the old soil is entirely depleted of nutrients and teeming with pathogens, making it a waste of effort. However, hauling heavy bags and paying for them every year is a significant burden, particularly for older gardeners. To our grandparents, soil was a living entity that needed rejuvenation rather than total replacement. Instead of throwing it all away, Grandma would remove roughly the top third of the soil where old roots and debris accumulated. Then she would use a trowel to aerate the remaining soil underneath and mix in some fresh, humus-rich soil, along with a bit of slow-release fertilizer. This technique not only restores missing minerals, but also preserves the beneficial microorganisms already established in the old soil, helping new plants adjust to their environment more quickly. Coffee filters to prevent soil loss. Many people accept that soil leaking from drainage holes after watering is just an unavoidable mess. They try to fix it with plastic mesh or large stones, but the result is often muddy streaks on the patio and a loss of soil that leaves roots vulnerable. To prevent this, Grandma always placed a coffee filter over the drainage holes before adding soil. The fiber structure of the filter is unique. It is tight enough to retain even the smallest soil particles while remaining porous enough for excess water to drain out cleanly. This keeps the area tidy and ensures the soil structure remains stable over time. Furthermore, coffee filters are natural and biodegradable, allowing roots to grow through them easily as the plant matures. Sprinkling cinnamon to repel ants. When ants appear in long lines or bring aphids to damage a plant, the common reaction is to use strong chemical sprays for an instant kill. In traditional gardening, Grandma never used those harsh substances. She simply used a jar of aromatic cinnamon from her spice cabinet. She would sprinkle the powder along ant trails and around the base of vulnerable plants. Science explains that ants navigate using complex pheromone scent trails. The intense scent of cinnamon disrupts this communication, causing the ants to become disoriented and unable to find food or their nest. Consequently, they are forced to relocate without being killed. Besides repelling insects, cinnamon has natural antifungal properties that protect the plant base from diseases in humid environments. This method is effective and keeps the garden smelling wonderful and safe for everyone, using boiling water as a natural weed killer. Have you ever considered pouring boiling water in your garden without harming the whole area? It might sound like a bad idea because people believe it will ruin the soil and kill beneficial microbes. Because of this, many spend hours pulling weeds or using chemical killers. But our grandparents saw boiling water as a precise weeding tool. Grandma would pour it directly onto weeds in pavement cracks, along walls, or on brick walkways. The high temperature breaks down the weed's cell structure and cooks the roots so they cannot recover. Crucially, boiling water is only used where no desired plants are growing, so it doesn't harm the garden soil. It costs nothing, uses no chemicals, and saves your back. With just a kitchen kettle, Grandma kept the yard tidy and safe, cleaning rusty tools with vinegar. If you are thinking of throwing away rusty shears, think again. Many people discard rusty items, believing they are beyond repair. But to our grandparents, everything deserved a second chance. Grandma's secret was white vinegar. Heavily rusted tools were soaked for a few hours or overnight. The acetic acid reacts with the iron oxide, softening the rust so it flakes off. After soaking, a light scrub with steel wool removes the rust like dust, revealing the steel beneath. Then the tool is dried and oiled to prevent future rust. No expensive chemicals are needed. With just vinegar, old tools continued to serve Grandpa every spring, showing how the older generation turned thriftiness into a skill. Designing garden beds with hoses. Shaping flower beds or paths can be confusing for those without architectural tools. Grandma had a creative way using her garden hose. She would lay it on the ground and bend it into desired shapes, from soft circles to S-shaped paths. The hose's flexibility allowed her to test different designs before digging. If a curve didn't look right, she would nudge it with her foot. Once satisfied, she would mark the curve and start digging. This made garden planting fun and artistic, ensuring her flower beds had a natural beauty that reflected her resourcefulness. Raised garden beds for health. Many believe that a lush garden requires hours of painful kneeling or bending. This physical toll can turn the joy of gardening into an obsession with back pain. Resourceful gardeners have long known to elevate the garden. Beds raised to waist height with bricks or wood allow you to care for plants without straining your spine. This design also helps control soil quality and drainage more effectively than planting in the ground. Standing tall among the veggies provides a sense of peace. Plants are at eye level, making maintenance like trimming or bug catching much easier and more detailed. DIY worm towers. Fertilizing individual plants is often a tedious task involving complex calculations and digging. Many are tired of this cycle because nutrients don't always reach deep roots. To solve this, a secret was hidden in the veggie beds, turning plastic buckets into fertilizer factories. A bottomless bucket with holes drilled in the sides is buried deep, with only the lid visible. Instead of tossing kitchen scraps or coffee grounds, they are placed in this tower. Earthworms smell the food, crawl in through the holes, and then crawl back out, distributing nutrients throughout the garden. Their movement also aerates the soil naturally. This system saves labor and creates a sustainable cycle where organic waste becomes plant food. Recycling nutrients from urine. There is a soil tip so powerful it was once discouraged because it worked too well, doubling or tripling yields. For families depending on harvest, it was a miracle. Old farmers called it liquid gold. Scientifically, fresh urine contains nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, in forms plants can absorb immediately. While phased out in the past due to urban hygiene issues, science now proves it is a safe, recyclable nutrient source if used correctly. The best way is to dilute it 1:10 with water and apply it to the base of plants. Combined with carbon-rich mulch like straw to keep nitrogen in the soil, watering in the morning or evening limits smell. This turns waste into a free, fast, and effective fertilizer. Soaking seeds in Epsom salt water. Sowing seeds directly into dry soil can result in weak, uneven growth. Few realize that seeds need a high-energy start. To activate this, soaking seeds in Epsom salt water acts as a nutrient bath. 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt in a gallon of warm water creates a growth-stimulating solution. Soaking for 4 to 6 hours before planting allows seeds to absorb magnesium, which starts germination enzymes. This boost promotes strong root development, helping seedlings withstand environmental changes. Sprouts from this method usually emerge all at once and are sturdier and greener. This care increases germination rates and promises a healthy harvest. Nicking large seeds. Seeds with hard coats like beans or squash can take weeks to sprout. Plain water soaking might not be enough because the tough shell blocks water and oxygen. This leads to delayed growth or rot. To help the sprout emerge, a nicking technique is used. Sandpaper or a knife tip is used to lightly scuff the hard shell. This breaks the physical barrier, allowing moisture to reach the seed's heart and activate life. After nicking and soaking in warm water overnight, even stubborn seeds sprout quickly and evenly within a few days. Lightening up large pots. Gardening doesn't require weightlifter strength. Large pots don't have to be as heavy as cement. Many fill pots entirely with soil, making them weigh dozens of kilograms and straining the back. Instead, place small plastic nursery pots upside down at the bottom of the large container before adding soil. This fills space where roots rarely reach, reducing the soil needed and making the pot lighter. These empty spaces also act as a drainage system, preventing root rot. Moving pots to catch the sun becomes simple. This combination of recycling and weight saving makes gardening relaxing and saves money on soil. Using pine needles for weed control. Overgrown weeds are a nightmare requiring hours of labor or toxic chemicals. Dry pine needles can be spread as a thick mulch around plants. This natural barrier blocks sunlight from reaching weed seeds in the soil. Without light, weeds cannot grow, keeping the garden clean without hard work. Pine needles also stabilize soil moisture by limiting evaporation. Over time, they decompose into organic matter, loosening the soil. Their mild acidity makes them perfect for plants like roses or strawberries. This is a sustainable and economical way to garden that respects nature's cycle. Trapping slugs with plywood. Dealing with slugs is tiring because they hide during the day. Using chemical baits can be dangerous for pets. Instead, use scrap plywood. In the afternoon, place flat pieces of wood in damp spots. When the sun rises, slugs seek dark, cool shelter under the plywood. The next morning, you can flip the wood and collect the slugs. This method is effective and safe for the ecosystem, turning slug control into a simple morning routine that protects your greens without harming the environment. Feeding the soil with kitchen scraps. Fruit peels and coffee grounds are often seen as trash, but they are a rich source of minerals. Kitchen scraps are a precious gift to return to the earth. Instead of discarding them, bury eggshells, coffee grounds, or veggie peels in shallow trenches around plants. Microorganisms decompose them, releasing calcium and nitrogen directly to the roots. This provides sustainable nutrients and improves soil structure, making it better at holding moisture. Every piece of organic waste has the potential to feed the garden, creating a meaningful cycle of life. Using vegetable boiling water as fertilizer. Water used to boil vegetables is often poured away, but it contains dissolved vitamins and minerals. As long as no salt or spices were added, this water is a wonderful liquid fertilizer once cooled. Watering the base of plants with it provides a gentle nutrient boost for healthy growth and green leaves. This saves water and provides free, safe supplemental fertilizing. Reusing this water shows a thrifty spirit and makes the most of nature's resources, turning trash into a gift for the plants. Plate and bowl system for seeds. Creating the right humidity for seeds is a balance. Too much water can cause rot, while too little dries them out. Soaking directly in water can deprive them of oxygen. An indirect hydration system uses a bowl of water as a base with a plate on top. Seeds are wrapped in a damp cloth on the plate. The plate is positioned near the water surface but not submerged. Rising water vapor creates consistent, gentle humidity around the seeds. This helps them receive the moisture needed for growth without the risk of drowning. Placing this in warm light ensures healthy, fast sprouts. Glass bowls as mini greenhouses. Plastic wrap is often used for seed trays, but a sealed environment can lead to mold. An upside-down glass bowl is a scientific alternative. It allows sunlight to pass through for energy and warmth. Because the bowl doesn't seal perfectly against the ground, air can still circulate, preventing mold. Seedlings grow sturdily in this controlled environment. The glass also makes it easy to monitor growth without losing heat. This simple item protects fragile sprouts and shows an understanding of the environment needed for strong growth. Using soft toilet paper for seeds. Durable paper towels are convenient, but can break delicate roots when you try to separate them. Even small injuries can cause transplant shock. A gentler choice is soft toilet paper. It holds moisture well, but has a weak fiber structure that biodegrades easily. Once seeds sprout, you don't need to remove them from the paper. Just cut the paper and plant it directly into the soil. The paper dissolves quickly, allowing roots to grow without injury. This minimizes shock and protects the plant's early life, showing meticulous care for every detail. Making fertilizer from soaked weeds. Throwing pulled weeds in the trash is a waste of nutrients. During their growth, weeds absorb nitrogen and potassium from deep in the ground. They can be transformed into liquid fertilizer by soaking them in a closed bucket of water for 1 to 2 weeks. The nutrients melt into the water, creating a nutritious weed tea. The liquid is then filtered and diluted for use. This returns to the soil what belongs to it, helping plants grow without cost. Veggie beds treated this way have lush leaves and better resistance to pests, reflecting a philosophy where every part of nature is valued. Soaking garlic before planting. Garlic planted in dry soil grows roots slowly because the sturdy skin blocks moisture. To give garlic a strong start, soak the cloves in clean water overnight before planting. This softens the outer skin and stimulates root cells to grow immediately. When planting, place the clove pointy end up and cover with enough soil for the sprout to reach the sun. This tip leads to better yields with firm bulbs and a strong aroma. Careful preparation ensures efficiency and a bountiful harvest. These 25 gardening tips are more than just techniques. They represent the memories and love our grandparents had for every plant. These secrets teach us to cherish what we have, listen to nature, and care for life with a gentle heart. I hope these stories inspire you to build your own green space where traditional values shine. If these stories have changed the way you look at the simple plants in your yard, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. We are uncovering the history and wisdom that time tried to hide. Let's grow the future together. Our next treasure trove of knowledge will be opening soon.